Stage 2 engine chill has started. Engine hydraulics at pressure. And Stage 1 fuel is closed out. Falcon 9 is in self-align. Falcon 9 heaters closing out.
Dragon has transitioned to configure for terminal count.
Vehicle tanks pressing for strong back retract.
Strong back retract has started.
Stage 2 RP1 bleed. Stage 1 RP1 bleed. AFTS final setup started. MBAG igniter purges. Pogo bleed.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power.
Stage 1 LOX load closeout. Vehicle is transitioning to internal power. Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
Dragon is in auto idle.
Ground gas closeout is starting.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in countdown.
FTS is armed for launch.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
Footpath 79, Yankee Bridge.
2025, 79, do silver ground tag, 6 kilo.
2377 on half a kilo, going somewhere around 597.
77, do silver ground tag, via Lima, kilo 5, and hold short of kilo 7.
That way I'm not muted. All right, Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. Listen, this is going to be our SITREP. It is, let's see, 12/7/2022. It's about 11 a.m. Coming to you from the great state of Texas. And without further ado, let's hop over here to our board. Now, I'm going to be messing with it here for a second live because I just totally forgot to load all of the heavies and the refuelers. But that's okay because we can do this on the fly. It's not a big. So let's bump over here to the U.S. Looking at CONUS, let's populate our list here real fast. We'll see what we've got actually on the board by the numbers. And as you can see, Tex 2 is going to be our highest. So that's going to be trainers. We get down here to the T-38s, tack on another 15 onto the 39. But look at the tanker activity. You've got 33 air refuelers up. So let's take a quick look at those. And let me bump this down. Got a better eyes on it now. All right. So that doesn't include the 6-7 Pegasus aircraft, but that is going to include just the 135 tankers. So, but you can see pretty heavy across the center of the U.S. And down here over Florida, that's pretty close to Trump right there. That Drew 33, and a little bit southeast, a little bit northeast. We kind of expect to see this up here because that's where Flashbang is. And so that's going to be the tankers. Now let's just take a quick gander. We got 14 C-130s up, and those look to be East Coast centric. We throw in some, C-17s, 14. C-130s, 11. And then let's just look at our other C-130Js, 15. So we got a pretty good amount up currently, but just note that they are all pretty much East Coast, heavy. This teal one right here, teal 84, that's actually going to be the Hurricane Hunters. Okay, so when you see these here, these two teals that are in the mix, Hurricane Hunters, but a thing. And let's hop over to Europe real fast just to see what we've got up from this perspective. And it's kind of light, really. Not too much going on from that standpoint. So a little bit here north of Italy. We've got a couple things here to the, the west of Italy. really else though. We've got one little bird by himself down here that is kind of over Oman. All right, and then this C-17 is headed down into Africa, but we'll look at the RRR, which can be your Brits, here in just a minute, okay? All right, back away from this, and let's get into the watch list here. Now, we get over here, start on the east or west coast, sorry. We've got that little Embry Air 120. That's going to be Phoenix Air. They're just taking engineers to and from an island. Then we got a little gray 88. And that one's running back and forth up into Colorado. That's going to be an Intel bird. Got 3 R135s up, which is interesting. That's kind of a little bit of a surge. And then a Q4 drone that is just north of that up in the Dakotas. And then it looks like we've got 2 E6s that have just parted ways. One headed northbound, one headed eastbound. Little Dash 8 down here. That's going to be one of your NOAA birds. And, no, sorry, that's Homeland Security. My B. And then let's see, a couple P8s blasting out of Jacksonville Naval Air Station. That's kind of normal right now. See what else we got going on here. Yeah, another 8. And that's National Nuclear Security. A little BE-30 out over DC. But kind of where we are from that standpoint, let's get over to Europe and see what we've got happening over there. Not a lot, really. All I've got are the German aircraft up and one drone. That's an IAI. That's an Israeli aerospace industries drone that is doing a little bit of work there to the north of Tripoli. So, okay, now let's look at our R135s. And you'll see they've been a little more active. This is the last 2 days. So this is since the last time we got together. Just noticed you had it bug out of kind of the Middle East area there down by Qatar and Oman, that general area then. But it ran up there, was running some routes over Syria and or just to the border of Syria. Then notice we had another one here kind of off the coast of Israel and Lebanon. In between Cyprus. And then we've got it running up here as well. That one is actually, again, off of Moldova. I'm telling you, the Russians have a big presence in there. That's why we were offering to set up their energy sector for them. It was basically bribing them, see if they took the bait or not. But now this looks a little misleading because I don't have it set over the right areas. Now, if you look at it closer, that little... I don't know. It looks like a fan blade almost, the way they're branching out. Notice it's just along the border of Belarus. It's just to the south of Kaliningrad and then running up further north there. So looks like the R135s are actually doing a lot of legwork in that general region. And as always, and it's a reconnaissance bird, right? And then this one, this is, we've been watching this a couple times now, coming down close to Texas, kind of in that Oklahoma panhandle. Remember, you can look down 300 miles away at an object and track it. That's the size of a soccer ball. So, and then looks like that one took off out of one of the red flag areas. So, okay, that's going to be our R135s right now. Pretty quiet out over the rest of the areas. Let's look at our sub hunters. Kind of paints a little different picture. But again, it's over land. I don't see too much water activity when it comes to the subs. Notice you do have one coming out of Arizona. I thought was a place for it to be. But off the coast of Florida, both sides, got a little work there. It looks like just to the west of Tampa, northwest of Tampa. And then you've got a little bit of stuff here off of the east coast of Florida up between Cape Canaveral and Jacksonville. And then you got this one shooting out off of Virginia Beach. So probably U.S. subs that are out there. But we took a good look at it. And then we'll get over to Europe here. And you're going to see there's really only one thing that's showing on the board right now from that perspective, and that is to the north of the UK. You can see them kind of shoot out over the water there, clearly looking for something. But, and then if we've got anything down south, I don't think we do. Yeah, we got one. Looks like just a movement of assets there, right there in the middle. So, okay, let's go over to the drones. standpoint. Now, we were talking about this one yesterday. This is launched out of Jacksonville Naval Air Station, and it bounced up over DC. And notice it's got that little tight man in the middle circle, right? Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that and the software that's out there. You've heard me talk about Dirtbox and Stingray, and we're going to talk a little bit about Pegasus and some of the other softwares that are out there, Phantom, Pegasus, etc. But that's going to be that activity over, looks kind of like it's around Virginia Beach, north up towards Delaware, kind of in that general range. Then we get over here to Europe, and you can see that we've got, there's that little AIA north of Tripoli running routes again out over the water. And don't forget, too, we did lose a Q4 drone that got shot down a couple months ago over that same area there. So I guess it ventured a little too far south of Malta. And it looks like we're running up the border there off of Poland, looking at Ukraine and Belarus there with that Q4. So, okay, now that's going to show those aspects. The civilian intel, again, tells a story. Remember, we just looked at the Q9 drone up over the same area. They got eyes on somebody. They're either watching or peppering someone right there along the West Virginia border, and then that little section over DC. And then you've got this part kind of over the water just to the west of Kaliningrad, which is Russia. And then let's see if we got anything else up here that catches my attention. I don't see anything to be kind of flat. All right. So let's get back to it. So the big takeaway is the fact that they are definitely, they spy on us on a regular basis. We've known it. We've been tracking it for months on end, actually years. Everything from the military intelligence balloons that we look at 80, 90,000 feet above our heads to these little man-in-the-middle deals. You get the Q4 drones up, the Q9 drones running that tight circle. We even see it with the AWACS sentries that can do that as well. And so so we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's get into Flashbang real fast. Looks like he's got pretty light day. Let's see what he has to say here. Now, I think I'll let you decide for yourself.
He's as law. Respect for pardon?
Try that one more time.
Nations.
Listen closely.
Treaties as law. Respect for pardon?
You guys know what that is? I think he has fruits of the spirit here. He's been blessed with a gift. He is the flatulence whisperer. Yeah, it sounds like he had one get away from him there at the podium, and really plays it off well. I mean, just kind of stares off into the distance, you know, like, does somebody say something? You know, now we've got this guy talking to his flatulence. Oh, this guy. Oh man. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about our government at work. FBI came close to deploying NSO spyware, may use similar tools in the future. The big takeaway here is, and this was just published recently, NSO is actually an Israeli company. They developed this software that allows them to, it's called Pegasus, and another one's called Phantom. The Pegasus, the reason it gets its name is because it can actually hit your phone in the air, as they call it. It's because it gets pushed through sources in the air. Your phone never knows it's there. You don't have to click on anything to activate it. It just runs behind the scene, and it actually does what these man-in-the-middle software do as well, like Dirtbox and Stingray. It does that. It looks like the FBI was branching out to add to their quiver, but it does the same stuff, right? It basically will take snapshots of everything on your phone. It pulls up, and it basically downloads or uploads all of your data, everything from contacts to text messages to pictures, anything and everything that's on that phone. It basically just copies it, takes it away, and then it sends it off, and they just put it into a large database, or they have analysts that they're looking at you, looking at the data. Now, the dangerous part is this stuff has the ability to push things to other people's phones. So it's not just a matter of grabbing things and looking at it from your phone, but they can actually transmit to your phone. That's where the Stingray technology comes in, because it's a push-pull mechanism. And like I said, it's man in the middle. And what that means is your phone is no longer talking to the cell tower. It's talking to the airplane that believes it's a cell tower. And the way they get around all of this is because if you look at the FCC guidelines and all of the regulations, when you start talking about cell tower use on ground, it's all basically controlled under that FCC part, and then controlled by the cellular provider, right? But when you go man in the middle, there are no regulations. You basically bypass all of that. So that's why this is so dangerous. But this is the interesting takeaway right here. It says here, however, according to recent court documents, the report said that the Bureau has not ruled out the possibility of deploying similar tech in the future. And so if you want to see a little bit more about it, this is another kind of smoking gun. It says in January 2022, it was reported that the FBI had secretly bought the Pegasus spyware in 2019 and had been seen demonstrating or saw a demonstration of Phantom, which is kind of it's made by the same company. They do very similar things in nature. And then they basically said, we don't know if we want to use it. Of course, they probably benchmarked it. They took it. They gleaned the information they needed from it, and then probably developed their own stuff. Of course, like I said, Dirtbox, old technology, been around for a while. And that's line of sight. And I believe from an aircraft, it's about a 20-mile radius. So they don't even have to be over you. They can just be near you and grab it. So, yeah, this is your Gestapo at work. And this is why it's so dangerous when you see them coming at Trump, because having the ability to push something to a phone, to any kind of a device, means you can push incriminating data that is totally fabricated, right? Whether it be child pornography, whether it be, classified document that was evidently in his possession. I mean, that is the problem with this. It's slippery slope, and we know these people are corrupt. So, all right, now here's one for you. This is on American Military News. Trump Organization found guilty of tax fraud by the jury. I'm telling you, they're coming at this guy 3 ways from Sunday. If they don't get him on something like tax fraud and his organization, they're going to get him on treason for mishandling of classified documents. Okay. And again, we've been tracking this flight or this group, right? This is the Gestapo N721AL that took off last Monday, and a week ago Monday, actually, and put a team down in Lauderdale, and they have not been down to pick him up. Now, keep in mind, we still have an active TFR, security TFR over Trump and over his residence, but doesn't prevent them from doing anything. Remember, too, there's a reason why he declared he was running for president 2 years early, okay? So they're probably figuring out workarounds, but believe me, they're going to come after him. There's no doubt in my mind, all right? All right. Now, here's another one for you. Flashbang as he heads over to Arizona. Maricopa County yesterday, by the way, which we've been watching the city of Phoenix, Maricopa County, doing flights over the area every time they do an audit. Coincidence? Probably not. But he said that he didn't have time to get down to the border. He had more important things going on. So, yeah, there's old Sleepy Joe. And, all right. Our border is not important. Even though they did have 73,000 escapes last month on the Texas border, that means 73,000 people got across the border and were not apprehended. They were seen getting away into our country. All right. All right. Here's one for you. This is your Bohica moment. U.S. Army awards Raytheon a $1.2 billion contract for Ukraine and their NASAMS, which is a National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System. And there's a little picture here of that right there. That's Raytheon. Again, this is just basically knocking stuff down as it comes into their region. So if we look at that, get over here to the Ukraine map, just to show you what's been going on there. This is today. And those little blue discs that look like shields, those are Russia popping stuff off deep into the country. All right. And it looks like they have had a couple day campaign. We looked at it on Monday, and it was a lot of blue shields everywhere. Now, remember, too, and we're going to look at this closer because this becomes very important as Russia continues on their campaign. This right here is a game changer, folks. Russia airfield in Kursk set ablaze by apparent Ukrainian drone strike. It says second day in a row that Ukraine has launched an apparent drone strike against an airbase in Russia. This is pretty deep into Russia, too, by the way. This isn't like right on the border. These strikes are pretty far in, which would mean that they're getting some help from somebody. Again, you can see this thing on fire here. But these are, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. This is not their technology. This isn't Ukraine's technology. This is probably either US or UK or somebody else that they are utilizing. And so it's a proxy war, right? We continue to provide them with what they need. But I will tell you, when you start taking shots inside the Russian border, this is the first time they've really been doing that, then that changes the face of the war and probably is going to warrant something coming from Russia that's going to step this whole thing up a notch, okay? All right, now here's one. It's a headline. I've seen it passed around a couple times, but when Blaze starts to report it, that's Glenn Beck, then you know it's got a little traction to it. So a human rights organization reveals 48 more secret Chinese police stations worldwide, including Los Angeles and New York City. What in the shenanigans is going on here? This is absolutely crazy when you think about having Chinese actually in your country with police doing work on your soil. That stuff is just, that's next level craziness right there. How they get away with that, I don't know. But we clearly allow it because they don't just come in here and stand up shop without somebody knowing about it. Now, the other day in my Monkey Minute, I reported on one of the other European countries that they had actually gone in and shut down 3,000 farmers, preventing them from utilizing fertilizer and basically taking away their crop yields for the future. All right. And this is another one, just again, under the Great Reset. Germany bans farmers from properly fertilizing land to serve the EU green agenda. That just means you're going to have lower yields. If you're not putting fertilizer on it, you're basically taking food off of the table. So that's exactly what that's all about. So, the global squeeze, folks. All right, let's move out over here to the cyber attack side of the house. So you can see, again, everything seems to be very one-directional here. We apparently are just getting peppered again. We're going on a couple months of this now. So simply amazing. But this is why you have the problems that you have with your internet connection or getting some kind of weird virus stuff going on. It's probably what happened to me. So, all right, over here to the NOTAMs. These orange boxes, or orange color, I guess they're more like a peach color. These are going to be mill exercises. And then the red ones are, for the most part, mill operations. So that's kind of what I've determined between the two. And you can see we've got a lot of stuff headed down south of the border here, out over the water. We've got something out off of the coast of San Francisco, up off Seattle. These are danger areas. And then little box there off of Cuba, and a lot of stuff up here on the border. So, all right, now let's get over here to Europe, see if anything has changed or if we've got anything new. Looks like it's about the same as it was the last time we looked at it. Although I will tell you, the reason we have the Brits flying south into Africa is because they've got some mill ops going on here in this general area. Okay. All right. Now let's step away from that. Get over to Biggs. Very quiet. I'm not seeing a great amount or a great deal of troop movements at the moment. We had a little bit of a push last week. And then it's since quieted down. These are just standard flights in and out of Biggs Army Airfield. Nothing on the board for Biggs. We get up here to Topeka, Kansas. And this is just regular stuff. Remember, this is also, they have commercial flights that come in and out. I don't see anything by anyone on this board other than there's a military one there, priority air transport. It's an Army bird. And then we've got this one that is a Swift flight coming out of St. Louis en route to that location. We'll look next time where it went to. But let's see. Walker Manufacturing. Don't know who that. Okay. So again, pretty quiet on that front. Let's get over to Ramstein. And you'll see we do have a couple camber flights inbound from Baltimore. This one coming in from England. And I don't know who's flying Nacho 71. That is definitely a U.S. bird, but what it is, probably, if I had to guess, C-130. But a couple of Valors coming in and a Spar 70. So that's going to be a little dignitary or some brass inbound. And then they're leaving, destination unknown, 2 camber flights. And it looks like Nacho is just doing some routes around Ramstein there. And then 1 Reach headed to County Kerry is going to be up there in Ireland. And we get over here to Poland, and anything really catches my eye. Remember, this is also mixed with civilian aircraft. Don't see any camber flights. So Poland's kind of quiet. Biggs is kind of quiet. And looks like it's all commercial based. There may be one in here I missed, but for the most part, not seeing too much going on here in Poland. All right, over to Guam as we bounce across into the Pacific. We got a Santa 44, another Santa 43. Not seeing anything there. And a little Navy bird there looks to be filling out of the location. That's it. So things are really kind of quiet right now from a military perspective. Maybe it's in between surges. I don't know. And we've got an Air Transport International bolting out of Diego Garcia. That's going to be Camp Justice. And we are still trying to establish, it looks like it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday route. This may be supply runs coming from Singapore. Okay. But I don't know yet. We're going to keep an eye on it. And then here are your camber flights. You got one from Joint Air Base. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Now, that little arrow right there would indicate that it's on the descent, and it's at 28,000 feet. That would be an indicator that this camber flight, which is a troop mover, is headed into Guantanamo Bay. So it looks like we've got one coming in. You can see he's already starting to make that little turn, and he'll round the bend right here. More than likely, he's headed there. We'll see where he ends up going. I'm going to click on him when we finish, just so I've got him on radar for next time to see where he ended up going. But all indications right now at that altitude, although he'd be a little high for coming in to Guantanamo Bay, he could be headed into Kingston, Jamaica, just a little south there. But that's going to be troops coming out of Joint Base Andrews, so DC, and 2 rolling out of Ramstein and 1 out of England. They look to be coming all back across the drink here to the U.S. So, all right, let me click on this one, and we'll save that for the next time we bounce in, because I'm really curious to see where that went. But you can see it rounding that bend. It is on a pretty good descent level there. Still seems a little high for going in, landing right here. So maybe it's a shuttle approach. Who knows? All right, it's going to be your Omni Airs. We've got 2 of them rolling out right now from Perot Field here in Fort Worth Alliance. One headed to Osan Air Base. That's heading across the Pacific out here. And then the other one headed to DC, Washington Dulles. All right, so we do have some troop movements out there, but it is light compared to what we normally see. And out of the locations we normally see, there's really not too much going on. So, all right, it's going to be your Brits. And it looks like they are actually running back into England at this point. This one coming out of Cyprus, headed northbound. And then this one could be headed into Poland. But anyway, got 4 of them showing on the board. I don't see 4 up here on my map. So 3. All right. The Ruskies got nothing. We had 1 flight earlier that was leaving out of Moscow, headed eastbound. Look to be headed kind of into this region, but I don't see it in the air. And then, of course, this is the ones we're watching. Remember, like I said, they dropped the team out about 30 minutes away from Trump, right down the road here. So we got eyes on them. They haven't picked them back up. We're going on a week and a half now where they've been down there on ground. So I don't like it. I'll just say that. So, all right, listen, that's going to be it for our SITREP today. I will see you guys over in the Q&A here in just a minute for the members. Everybody else, stay frosty, keep that powder dry, and if anything changes, we'll be back. Talk soon. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeywerxus.com.